Hello and welcome to the Corner Flag, a weekly football podcast that is more likely to appear next week than Maurizio Sarri. On this episode, we look at the Champions League games. United lost their winning streak against PSG. Spurs went 3-0 up against Borussia Dortmund, and we have a special guest.
Wow, what a week it has been. I'm so happy United's winning streak is gone. And I'll tell you why. It's not some sort of sadistic impulse where you're like, that team lost. I just feel like there was too much optimism brewing. I feel like it's nice once in a while when something pricks at that bubble.
Yeah, well, I fuck off. I agree, though, because a loss was going to come. It's not going to be like, oh, you've got Solskjaer in and we're just going to win every game or drop points in no game ever. You know, like that doesn't
just
happen.
From now on, Man United wins till Solskjaer dies. That's the
forever and ever. That's not going to happen. And I don't. Yeah, like PSG is as good a team to lose to. You know, like I'd be disappointed if it was Burnley or Crystal Palace that we lost to. You know, like or Fulham. You know, if you lost to those teams, then that's fucked up.
It's a confidence shaker.
This is fine. Like this was not like I want to say that this was expected. Like, sure, they didn't have Neymar, they didn't have Cavani, but to a certain extent, like when you have somebody like PSG coming to a United team that is still very much in transition, it's not wise to think of United as favourites.
Yeah, also I think there was a point where people were like, wow, is this guy onto something? You know what I mean? But there's a moment of disbelief of like, wow, is this a story that's building up to something big? And everybody's like, okay, it's not. It's good. Things are back to normal.
But of course, we shall not spend too much time on this game because this game was last week. So to quickly wrap it up, fuck Kimpembe. He should have been sent off. If Pogba was sent off, so should Kimpembe. And he scored the goal, so that's not cool. And secondly, fuck Angel Di Maria. He had a good game. He set up both goals. But fuck you for saying fuck you to the United fans at Old Trafford. And well done, Ashley Young, for just plummeting him and, dropping him straight.
You guys throw bottles at him?
Some fans did.
Some bad apples.
I don't condone that behavior. Shout as much as you want. Don't throw stuff. That's just disgusting behavior.
Throw a beer bottle at him or something like that.
Yeah, just drink the beer, guys. Like it's fine. Just be chill. But yeah, fuck Angel Di Maria. I hope we can
fuck the fans. Why were you not saying fuck the fans?
No, I'm not going to say fuck the fans. Dude.
Fuck the Man United fans who did shit like that. That's absolutely uncool. So Liverpool fans have no such behavior to report of. So I guess
we shall see how long that lasts. But that was PSG United. Of course, Spurs had a great game against Dortmund.
I am actually so happy Spurs are doing well in the Champions League. I feel like I'm very confused about Spurs because it's like how I feel about Arsenal. It's a team I want them to do well because I love the way they play.
Yeah.
But I'm also like the real immediate contenders to Liverpool, both in the Premier League and the Champions League. So it's a little bit tricky, but I'm so happy. It was such excellent football, great goals. Llorente scored, my favorite. And they didn't lose. So good job on Spurs.
I think that curse that you put on Llorente is finally wearing off for good.
Yeah, it's like the podcaster's curse, except it's the reverse. I curse and the opposite of it happens. So well done.
Yeah. What was interesting about the game was in the first half, it could have been anybody's game, and by anybody I mean Dortmund. Because Dortmund were playing so well, they were attacking, and some spectacular saves by Hugo Lloris to get them out of trouble because that defense was really shaky. Really shaky. Davinson Sanchez, I'm not convinced. Foyth, I'm not convinced. Alderweireld is the most assured of the back three, and you had Vertonghen on the left side.
But Vertonghen was just up ahead.
Exactly, and it paid off for him because what a game!
Yeah, game he had. Yeah,
and all second half goals, 3 goals second half.
Actually, I know right now Harry Kane and Son are hogging all the limelight, but probably he's the player I would like to have in my team, Vertonghen.
Yeah.
If you have to take somebody from Tottenham, it will be him because I feel like that sort of stability that he brings to the defensive line, and it's the stability and the attacking prowess. My God, what amazing goals!
Yeah.
And like the commentator said, it's a goal of a centre forward, but
it was, and that's the thing, right? He set up Son's goal, which was very similar to his own goal, like the cross and the finish. It was very similar, right? And that kind of points out a very basic defensive flaw in the center of Dortmund's defense. They're just not able to track the runs of the centre forwards going in, or in this case, the wing backs going in. Like that's.
I don't think Tottenham was like keeping track of their wing backs going up ahead.
Yeah. But great game, and like you said, like I am on Spurs' side as well, and I like Dortmund equally. I in Germany, Dortmund is my favorite team.
Of course, me too.
Prefer them over Bayern Munich, definitely fuck Thomas Muller.
Also, they also saying you never walk alone, so I love that.
Yeah, which is again, it makes it very conflicting for me. It's just weird. But they're a very good team, and so are Spurs. I want both these teams to do well. So
I want both of them to do well, but it's just saddening that one of them will go out and it looks like Dortmund.
Yeah, so
Currently, unless Dortmund pull off or Liverpool pulled off against Dortmund, it'll be fantastic.
absolutely, and that was essentially by and large what happened in the Champions League. Of course, at the time of recording, we are about 3 hours away from Liverpool Bayern. What are your predictions for Liverpool Bayern?
My predictions are that it's going to be a 1-1, and I think a lot of it is because the best players for both teams aren't around. Liverpool don't have Virgil van Dijk.
Why is Van Dijk not playing?
Van Dijk has accumulation of yellow cards,
Oh shit!
so he's out for this game.
The way you giggled at that, I was wondering where you were going with accumulation
He
of
got syphilis.
accumulation of pus in his ear.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like why, firstly, you, and secondly, why do you know that, Mukesh? Like, what have you been doing with Virgil?
Listen, if I could talk to Virgil and he told me he had passed, I would still take it as to not know him. Like, yeah, Virgil, come, let's talk about what do you have in mind today? Oh, a lot of passing your ear. Great. We will do something else. No, he's out for the game. Our central backs are a little shaky because I think it's going to be Fabinho and
Matip will
but
play.
Matip will play. But Matip will play. But also I'm a little scared of Matip because he hasn't played in a while and I don't know if he's Champions League material yet. So let's see. Should have been nice to have Joe Gomez at least, if not by
Right.
Virgil van Dijk.
Right. So 1-1. Who's on the score sheet for you?
Score sheet. Naby Keita to pull off a start. Xherdan Shaqiri, by the way, who has a good chance he might still play and he'll be playing against his former club.
Yeah, he will.
So that will be exciting. You know what? I'm going to put my bet on Xherdan Shaqiri to score a goal.
All right.
And then some Liverpool defense to screw it up. But it's okay. It'll still be a Shaqiri goal with Bayern having an away goal over us.
All right. Fair enough.
What do you think about the Bayern team though? Like, I think they're an older team. They're not doing too well. I think the Müller's not playing this game. I think Hummels and all have become really old. Then Robben, I don't know if he's playing. I don't think he's playing the game either. So I think both teams look a little weak. They look like stripped off their first layer.
Right.
So which is why I think it'll be a draw.
Right.
Klopp said, I want the Liverpool fans to create an atmosphere of intimidation, and he said atmosphere is half the thing, and I think that's the manager secretly saying, guys, we don't have enough players.
Yeah.
Whenever a manager is like rallying the audience, I'm like, we need you guys to cheer us on because otherwise we're screwed.
It's quite literally the manager asking the fans to be the 12th man.
Yeah, please.
Actually, this time it's more like the 11th man.
Both teams. Also, the other big battle I'm really looking forward to is Neuer versus Alisson.
Right.
Neuer, he's passed.
Which is weird because at no point is Neuer going to take a shot at goal or vice versa. So it's not directly a head-on battle.
But I want to see who makes a good save score. I feel like Neuer's past his prime, as are most of Bayern Munich's players.
Yeah.
And Alisson is probably hitting his prime, and I feel like this will be a good testament to Alisson's skill, because I've told you this before that it's good to be a great keeper when you have a solid defense, but now the defense is shaky. So, and it's a Champions League game. It's at Anfield. It's at home.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to bring to the table?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they have Lewandowski. So Lewandowski's I was reading about this, that he's scored in 4 consecutive. He's a top scorer for the league, Champions League this season so far. He scored consecutively for 4 matches in a row, and he's trying to make it 5, which has never happened in his career. So he's looking at that record, and I hope Alisson breaks that. He doesn't let it happen.
Cool. So Mukesh is saying 1-1 Xherdan Shaqiri for Liverpool. Who for Bayern? Lewandowski for Bayern. So let's see if that happens. If you watch the game, tweet to us tomorrow when this episode comes out and tell us if Mukesh got it right or not. I mean, you don't have to tell us because we will not have watched the game. We'll have watched the game.
It's not like we're locking ourselves up. We're like, we don't know what's going to happen. But I don't want to find out.
Tell us and make fun of Mukesh if it doesn't come to fruition. But that was the Champions League by and large. I want to quickly talk about United Chelsea.
Oh, let's talk about that.
We beat them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Of course, we had to watch the game. Both of us, we had to watch the game on my phone in Goregaon East in RA Colony because we were shooting, which is also why this episode is coming out one day later.
We also had a panther scare, by the way. I mean, and that's an actual panther, guys, or a leopard. I don't know what the difference is. And don't mishear us as leopard. It's a leopard. Which is an animal, not the diseased person. For those of you who misheard us.
Yeah.
I think otherwise we're not assholes like that. We're not Man United fans. Sorry,
You're literally the only person in this room who laughed at that.
People in their rooms giggling away right now.
Sure.
Just using lepers for my cause.
Sure. Stop using lepers for comedy, Mukesh. Stop doing that. Stop being so insensitive.
We had a leopard scare when we were working. We were working on a set, and we're still putting up this podcast. That's how much we love you guys. But back to United.
Yes, 2-0 United. Both first half goals and both very good goals, which was again just against the run of play because Chelsea had moments. They just didn't finish off those moments.
Which is really weird. That front line of Pedro, Higuain, and Hazard looks so dangerous.
It did, and it's not like the United defense is the best defense in the world right now. You know, Chris Smalling still has a bunch of mistakes, and Ashley Young has a bunch of mistakes,
and it was a second keeper. And it was a secondary keeper. It wasn't your primary keeper.
And it was Sergio Romero in goal. But what a performance by Romero!
I don't know what he's doing as a second keeper. He should probably go out to another team and be a first keeper there.
I think so. Here's the thing, right? Romero is about 30 now.
Yeah.
He's at United. He loves United. Okay, he loves the club. He loves the facilities at the club. He loves everything about the club. So
yeah, they pay him for that.
Fair enough. Honestly, yeah. Like if
he's not freelancing, guys. Just I love it. I'm gonna part time. He just goes back to his wife and he's like, "Would you have in the car today? Joy." That's how.
Yeah, how are you going to pay for those groceries? Just with my respect for Man United. No.
It's called here, dude.
No.
$10.
No, but he does, and he's very happy being secondary goalkeeper. He's very happy fulfilling that role. And see, the thing is, secondary goalkeeper is a position that's incredibly tough to fill. All right, by and large,
sure, go for it.
What are you laughing about?
Yeah, it's secondary goalkeepers. It's the toughest job to do. No, it's not. It's not the toughest job to do.
It's not. That's not what I said. I didn't say it's the toughest job to do. I said it's the toughest position to fill.
Yeah, sure.
And that's primarily because as a goalkeeper, you're not going to get as many games. If you're a secondary outfield player, you can still rotate. But your goalkeeper is by and large, solid. Like it's like you won't take De Gea out of your team or you won't take Alisson out of your team. Just randomly, also because Mignolet is the option.
I was like, we'd be like, Milner, can you do this? Yeah, Milner, good, you do this. Mignolet,
But you don't really do that, right? So oftentimes it's like somebody from the youth academy, like Joel Pereira was for us. He's gone out on loan now, but it's oftentimes it's somebody from the reserves of the youth team that kind of steps in as secondary goalkeeper. Because, as and when you get the matches...
No, I understand it's a tough role to fill in and he's a fantastic keeper.
He's a fantastic keeper. He's Argentina's number one.
But 30 is also really not old for a keeper, right?
It's not. But see, here's the thing. Like, I think it's not like there's too many good goalkeepers from Argentina right now. Because let's see who's in the Argentina squad. You have Sergio Romero, who takes the number 1 shirt. Even though he wears number 22. I think he does that even for Argentina. And then you have Willy Caballero. And between the two, you would go with Sergio Romero any day.
No, forget that. Forget about Argentina.
So the point I'm trying to make is his spot in the Argentine national team is sorted. He's living a fairly comfortable life in Manchester. He's getting paid to not really play so much. And when he plays, he puts in a good performance. And I think that works out for everyone because the United fans love him whenever they see him.
Which is very little.
Yeah, like he's never complained. He's never complained about not getting games and all of that. And it's worked out well for everyone because even Solskjaer has said he's the FA Cup goalkeeper. So no matter how fit De Gea is or how well he's playing, what form he's in, Sergio Romero is always going to play the FA Cup games. Even if United make it to the FA Cup finals, Sergio Romero will start the FA Cup final because that's just how he's set up the team.
Sure.
And that probably does well for morale as well because Romero knows that, man, you know what? If I don't play well and if I let in the goals, we're going to be knocked out and then I won't get another game. So it's great.
Every time he's like, shit, I need to buy property. I need to buy property in Manchester United. Every time he makes a save, he's just thinking, that milk packet is coming.
That's great incentive.
But I think, maybe that's a good strategy. Is that a Solskjaer strategy or is it a Man United strategy?
I think it's a Man United strategy because
it's a good strategy.
Even Jose did the same thing. Every FA Cup and Carabao Cup game, I think
he's used the secondary keeper.
He's used Romero.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't think because Liverpool don't have a secondary keeper who's that reliable, so maybe that's why they don't have such a system, but I think that's a good system to implement because I feel like you said it, being a secondary keeper just seems like it doesn't seem like a very fulfilling role to do, especially for somebody who's as good as Romero.
Yeah.
If you're a very young keeper or a very old keeper, I understand because either you're trying to pay the bills or you're trying to just be discovered. But somebody of his caliber, somebody who played so well against a top-class team, Chelsea's, the attack of Pedro and Higuain, he deserves something better. But well done if he's happy and if he's getting the FA Cup.
Absolutely.
If his wife is happy, good for their family.
Good. It's nice to know that you care about Mrs. Romero. Mukesh from Pali.
I just don't want her to go hungry in the night. Okay,
that's so weird. That is so weird. But yeah, Chelsea had some great moments in attack where United looked very shaky at the back, and Higuain just could not get a shot on target.
Yes,
he just could not. Like what is? I think he's past his prime. I think
Higuain's a player past his prime, but he was just meant for one. He was brought in for one job, which is to sneak goals in, right? But there are 4 months left in the season, and his job is to be at a place like the team has to conspire to set him up to poke in goals. His job is literally that, but I don't think the team fed him those balls.
You think he's a panic buy?
He's definitely a panic buy. He's definitely a panic buy. It's Sarri trying to assert his choice.
Yeah.
Because, Hazard isn't listening to him. Abramovich is all over the place. So he's like, you know what, here's a guy who I've worked with who I know will do things.
Yeah.
And it's not working out so far, really.
Yeah.
Sensational opening, though. He scored 2 goals, I think.
Huddersfield. We've spoken about this. Huddersfield.
But his job is to poke goals in. And I don't think there's a midfield that's set up to help him out. So the fact that there isn't a midfielder who's helping him out is probably why it's a useless buy.
It should be Jorginho, but...
Yeah, it should be Jorginho, but that's...
Or it could actually be N'Golo Kante, but Kante is he's been played out of position regularly. Just drop Jorginho and get Kante in the center of the field, and the guys, I mean, like, if you listen to the Football Ramble, those guys raised this valid point where they were like, Kante is a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
He won the World Cup playing a certain position, which is the position he played at Leicester where he won the league. Cup. Like the signs are there. The signs are there. Just use
Sarri ball isn't working out. Sarri ball play some real football.
No, Sarri ball isn't working out and the fans are pissed off. Right, Prashant?
Man, I hate Sarri ball.
He hates Sarri and he hates this podcast because how much we discuss Chelsea, but how shit it is when we are both Liverpool and United fans and we're not shit talking each other, but we're shit talking Chelsea.
But it's fun, right? It's therapeutic to talk shit about Chelsea.
Ever.
It's so good. Right, so of course that is what happened in the FA Cup, and now in the quarters it's United versus Wolves, City versus Swansea, which is going to be
an exciting match because City are going to win it.
Yeah. I think the most exciting match is going to be Millwall versus Brighton. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
I'll stay up and watch that match, guys. Please, you should support Millwall.
Yeah, Millwall is.
Isn't that the shite team that did shit against Everton?
Yes, that
is. Yeah, let's fuck Millwall. Fuck those fans. I don't know why I said I'll support Millwall.
Yeah. No, Millwall has a history of being a troubled football club, or in terms of the fans at least, just hooligans.
You know which other club?
Oh, come on, fuck off.
But on that note, let's talk about the most exciting thing that we've saved up for the end, which is the Man United Liverpool game that's coming up.
Yes, United versus Liverpool. Yes, on the 24th, it's Liverpool.
Amok just sounds like he just realized that game is coming.
No, dude, I've been so zonked, man. Like, you know this, we've been working for like long hours every day. We haven't slept enough.
Son, we saw a leopard.
And we didn't see a leopard. I think you just had a little bit too much to inhale. And you're seeing unicorns next to the leopard. But yes, United versus Liverpool, of course, on the 24th of Feb. We'll be talking about that game live on the day. We'll be watching the game together, hopefully, if it all works out. If our grand plans are going to work out, then we'll be doing something.
Yeah, and my prediction is based on some science and analysis, and that is that every time I watch the Liverpool-Man United game with a Man United fan, Liverpool have lost, so I'm a little scared about it.
Cool. So
even actual fact and science, guys.
So now, even if you're busy, you've got something going on, I'm going to come to your house, drag you, watch the game with me. It's going to be like weird, Clockwork Orange type torture.
No.
Just keep your eyelids open.
Or it could work. or the curse could work against me, like how it worked against Fernando Llorente. Mrs. Llorente, you can thank me very much.
But that game is coming up. But that is the roundup of the games that we watched in the last week and a half. Of course, there was Champions League and FA Cup. It's a shorter episode because there was no Premier League fixtures that took place. But it's time for stories with Amog and Mukesh, and this is a very special segment this time around because we have a guest this time. So it is time for stories with Amog and Mukesh. It's the jingle for stories with Amog and Mukesh. I love the little. I still don't know why you've done the pook pook at the end. It's just.
It's my favorite part. It's how I contribute to the podcast. I'm like, you take care of the facts and statistics. I'll just take care of the sound effects.
But this is a very special edition of Stories with Amog and Mukesh because today we have a special guest with us. We have Chris Sweeney from Glasgow, Scotland. Currently in Zurich, though. Hi, Chris.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Happy to be here. So looking forward to having a chat with you two guys.
Lovely. Just for the listeners, let me introduce Chris. Chris is a journalist and he is an author, and he has written a book about Thomas Gravesen, the ex-Everton, Celtic and Real Madrid midfielder. It's called Mad Dog Gravesen, right, Chris?
And
that's correct. Yeah, Mad Dog Gravesen, the last of the modern footballing Mavericks. I should know the name of my own book.
Good start. The book is off to a good start.
Yeah. The book, of course, launched on the 15th of February, and it is available in India on Amazon.in. We'll be sharing the link on the podcast page as well. So, Chris, tell us about Thomas Gravesen.
Well, I think he's a very hard man to sum up briefly, but I think he's basically best described as someone in the book describes him as Tom Hanks' character from Big. You know, he's basically he's just someone you don't forget. You know, very very vivid, very spontaneous, full of life, full of character. Cut from a different cloth, and maybe someone who's not like your typical modern, well-known footballers like today. He's someone very different from that.
So can you just share some anecdotes about him from his time as to what makes him different from previous?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could be here all night, but I'll try and I'll pick out a few of his classics.
And he's also from Everton, so like what classics?
Yeah, but Mukesh is a Liverpool fan, by the way. So
the minute I found out he was from Everton,
oh, he's got quite a few. He's got quite a few in Everton. I mean, I think one that people are quite enjoying from the initial reaction is with him and Wayne Rooney. Thomas had this thing about fireworks, so he used to get fireworks and he'd find a pipe at the training ground and he would launch giant rockets out of it at people on the training ground. So him and Wayne Rooney used to sometimes, do that to each other. He also had this thing with cars that in the bad weather in Liverpool, or it was rainy, it was grey, that kind of thing. Right. He wouldn't like to have a nice car. So what he would do is he would sell like his Porsche, and he had a big F50, a 150 truck, and all these types of things. And he would buy like a second-hand banger. So for a while he was going around in a sort of beaten up green Nissan Micra. So he was this top footballer, multi-millionaire, cruising about Liverpool in this little Micra. But for him, that was a sensible thing because you don't want a nice car in the bad weather.
It makes absolute sense.
Footballers in Everton also don't get paid much, clearly.
I think he probably was just making 25,000, 30,000 pounds a week. He's probably just struggling to get by.
Which is way more than you'll ever get paid, Mukesh. So I don't know what you're going on
I'm not comparing him to me. I'm not the one playing for Liverpool. I'm just saying he plays for Everton. So.
No, but you mentioned the fireworks thing. Just shooting fireworks at the training ground at Wayne Rooney. I think that's the reason why Wayne Rooney is so agile on the pitch. He can just slalom through the defense because every time he's playing and he's got a line of defenders in front of him, just muscle memory is just going back to, oh no, Thomas is shooting fireworks at me. Got to dodge.
It could be. Well, it could have been worse because he actually in Hamburg, his previous club before Everton, he actually brought dynamite into training, and which he referred to, as I say in the book, his special fireworks. And he got his friend to place them down, and he said, "When you light it, run." And I don't think the guy really understood, and he said, "Run." And obviously it exploded and left a massive crater. So Rooney's, I guess he's lucky Thomas had moved on just to fireworks at that.
Yeah, I'm sure he chose fireworks over dynamite.
Yeah, the funny thing about, because I remember watching football in the late 90s and the early 2000s. That's when I actually started watching football and following football properly. I remember Thomas Gravesen being an important part of the Everton midfield, and he was always this character. Like, I would always compare him to like United's Roy Keane. He was that type of a hard man character. What really kind of, it was just unfathomable for me was his transfer to Real Madrid, because that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do say in the book there is a theory that's still going around, that him and Lee Carsley played together. So Lee Carsley was kind of defensive midfield. Thomas was sort of the more attacking of the duo.
Right.
And Lee was number 26. Thomas was 16. They were both sort of fairly small, shaved head and white. So there's a rumour that Real Madrid thought they'd get the short guy that was white, bald, with number 6 in his back, but instead of getting the 16, they got the 26. So there was that sort of, instead of getting the 26, they got the 16. But there was that rumour going around. And actually, Lee Carsley has since my book came out on Friday, Lee Carsley has since taken to Twitter to say, no, that's not the case. And he was very serious about it. But I think that Real Madrid knew what they were doing. But there was a rumour about that. He goes to Real Madrid, and it is a surprise. I mean, in the book, I talk about how his assistant, one of his old managers, calls him and says to him, "Is that Thomas Gravesen of Liverpool, of Real Madrid?" Sorry, and he says, "Yeah, I can't believe it either." It was a bit of a dream for him to go. But I think, in his defence, or all the players I spoke to, even at Real Madrid, and through his career, he was a great player. I mean,
he was.
I think his skill was unappreciated. He maybe did things that maybe weren't so spectacular on the eye, but he was a good player. He had a good level of skill, and he could play at that level.
He did.
It was just maybe a slight surprise, maybe the type of role and the type of image he had going there. It maybe wasn't so much the football.
Yeah.
So I read a story about the fact that at Real Madrid he sort of chipped Ronaldo's tooth, the older Ronaldo. Is that true?
Well, he did more than chip it. He had a thing. He had a thing all through his career of he likes a play wrestle, and
right.
He's quite a strong guy. So what he would do is anything he would see, he would kind of get a hold of him and he'd get him on the floor on a bear hug, and he'd be he would think this was great. And one of the players told me that it was embarrassing because you'd be 2 or 3 inches off the ground, your feet dangling. And he was very strong, so it was hard to get. It was quite embarrassing, because this guy had you hold of you. But anyway, he does it. He goes to Real Madrid and decides to do it with Ronaldo. But Ronaldo seems to fight back. They end up on the floor rolling about, having a good laugh. But it ends with some of Ronaldo's teeth missing. So I don't know if the management found it so funny when they see their stars.
Yeah, because Ronaldo at that point must have been Real Madrid's most valuable asset, like this.
Yeah, he was banging in the goals. Yeah, it was like
there might have been some.
It was like 30 goals a season, man, and he was taking his teeth out. I mean, it was all in good humour. It wasn't done. There was no malice.
Exactly.
In it. It was just a bit. He was just a very playful guy in that sense, and I think he could take it too far. And I think Ronaldo losing his teeth was probably taking it too far.
Yeah. I'm sure there were a few insurance solicitors just waiting over there, just. Oh no, this is going to be a massive payout. Oh no. But he's had a tumultuous relationship with the Brazilians at Real Madrid, right? Like there was a particular incident with Robinho where they actually came down to blows.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the kind of Fabio Capello had just taken over as manager, and as we all know, he's a very sort of strict, like schoolmaster.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was initially too keen on Thomas's free spirit, shall we say?
Right.
And then I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. But I mean, to be fair, it was both of them. They had a bit of an incident in training. You know how it is. One pushed the other, and then Thomas, obviously, he was going from. You see in the pictures, but I think now you'll see the stills. I think Robinho would have been the loser there. The body language looks like one person's trying to leave and one person's trying to forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the pictures. Yeah.
After that, Capello told him, that's you out here, and then he leaves there to go and play in Celtic in Scotland.
Yeah. Fantastic. But he was a very good player, and he retired very abruptly, right? Like he just went off the radar. And was he 32 when he retired? 31?
But 32, he actually, when he leaves Everton, he's actually only got about 75 professional games left, which, when you think about it, is amazing. When you think you're going to Real Madrid, he only had like basically 2.5 years left of football in him. At Celtic, I think he just gets. I think he loses love of the pressure around him. I don't think the game. I think it's more all this stuff around him, and he just thinks to hell with it. And he retires age 32. He's still fit. He's still able to play.
Exactly. So what does he do now?
Retires and disappears off the face of the earth.
So where does he live now? So where does the legend live now?
Well, the legend, he did move to Las Vegas and had a hell of a time, and he had a great time in Las Vegas.
He went to Las Vegas.
I mean, one player was there on holiday. Sort of a Celtic player was there on holiday a few years later, and he was walking. He was in the NGM, and he was walking through the pool area, and he hears this guy shout, and he said he turned around and hears Thomas lying on a lounger, and he says to him, "So what are you doing here? You're on holiday?" He's like, "No, I live here." And the guy said, "Stupid question." If there was some guy living in Las Vegas, it was Thomas Gravesen, because he ends up there, and there's a lot of rumours, and I try to investigate these rumours that he won over $100 million in a one game of poker, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and there's a lot of rumours and stuff difficult to pin down. But he's since left there, and now he's back in Denmark, in a town called Vejle. That's where he started his career.
Okay.
And there's a big penthouse. There's a big kind of white building there, kind of very tall apartment building. There's only one, or it's not a very big city, and he lives in the penthouse there. And if you want to go for a coffee with him, he's a very approachable guy, a lovable guy. If you're in the media, he won't talk to you. He'll tell you to get lost. But if you're just an ordinary football fan and you want to go up to him, I'm told that if you've got a smile on your face, you should get a good reaction from him.
Awesome. So if you're ever in Denmark, Mukesh, we should go with a bunch of fireworks to Thomas Gravesen and say, "Let's go get some coffee."
We just take a dynamite and be like, "Do we run now?"
Yeah, do we run? Let's run.
He's a bit of a character. I think everyone that comes across him has us being that different. I guess he just sees it as normal, if you know what I mean. He doesn't see himself as any different. It's just the way he is. He's just wired differently from maybe what most other people are.
Right. So just to kind of wrap it up, which team would you think he would be most suited to if he were playing today?
If he was playing today, which team would he most suited to? I think he needs a team where he feels at home, where it's a good spirit.
Yeah.
So I would say somewhere like Crystal Palace. I would say somewhere where it's not too big.
Right.
It's not that he doesn't have the ability for a Manchester United or an Arsenal or whatever it may be, or a Liverpool.
Right.
It's that I think the other things around it were what caused Thomas a problem. It was the attention on him. It was people in his business. He's quite a private guy. I mean, in his summer holidays at Celtic, they ask him, so where are you going? One of the guys in the book tells the story. He says, "So where are you going your summer holidays, Thomas?" He says, "Oh, just back to Denmark." And the guy goes, "All right, you're going to see family?" He says, "Well, yeah, but I mean, I like to go into my parents' basement and just play video games all summer." And the guy thought he was joking, but at this point, he's a multi-millionaire. He's going out with one of the most famous porn models or porn stars in Denmark called Kira Eggers. So you can find if any
do some research on that.
I'll leave you alone, and then you can have a look at that. And, and his summer holiday is going back to sit in a basement and play video games. He's quite a simple guy, and I mean that materially. He's not someone who I think was chasing glory and adulation. I think he just played football for the fun of it. So I think he'd be good in a club where he could be part of a team, part of a community. And that's why he was good at Everton, because in those days, Everton, although they're a big club, it wasn't a huge amount of money. So things were fairly low key for that level. So I would say Crystal Palace, I think, would be a good fit.
Absolutely. Lovely talking to you, Chris. And of course, just for our listeners, Chris's book, Mad Dog Gravesen, The Last of the Modern Footballing Mavericks, is available on Amazon.in. You can pick up the book right now. It's going to be a fantastic read. I've gone through it as well, and there's lots more stories that Chris has investigated. So click the link that we've put in the episode notes and get your hands on the book right now. Thank you for coming on the show,
Chris.
Thank
you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks
Lovely
a lot.
talking to you. See ya.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
So that was Chris Sweeney from Glasgow, Scotland, who has written the book Mad Dog Gravesen.
And it's Mukesh and Amog from Bandra.
From Bandra. Yes, we have truly gone international with this podcast now. But that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening, all the people who did. Give a shout out to Prashant Soni, who's designed the artwork for us and produces this podcast. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram.
And crying in his room every time Chelsea plays.
Yes. You can find Mukesh on Instagram at
Mukesh.Manjanath,
which which is not your handle. It's Mukesh Manjunath.
My handle
We
is
said
Mukesh.
this last episode, man. How do you not know your own? You know what, guys? Don't follow Mukesh. Fuck
No,
Mukesh.
please follow me, guys.
You can follow him on Twitter at,
Mukh the Gol, as in asterisk the Gol.
and you can follow me on Twitter at Amograndive, on Instagram at Amograndive, and on Facebook at
And
Amograndive
that's
Comedy.
because his name is Millwall.
You can also write into us on our Twitter handles about the podcast. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. We are available on all major podcasting platforms. So do spread the word, tell the world about us. And we will see you next Tuesday with another episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.